Oh my gosh. It's meaty, it's flavorful, it's easy to put together. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. I am so excited to be sharing today's video because over on my Instagram I have what's called a broadcast channel. You can join the group and I just share like behind the scenes, product recommendations, things that I'm eating that I haven't posted on my feed or my stories. But I asked my community over there which video I should post today. It was between a sheet pan video, a sheet pan meals video, or a high protein breakfast video. The majority of the people who voted picked the sheet pan meal video. So that is what I'm sharing today and I'm very, very excited. Also, y'all ate up that butter bean recipe. There have been so many people who have told me that they made it. I am shook. Like, I really did not think that, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm so glad that so many of you are trying the butter beans. I hope that you enjoy these recipes just as much. The first sheet pan meal is pretty much a traditional sheet pan meal. So we have veggies, protein, carbs, all the things that you need in a meal. And it's a really good recipe if you have ingredients in your fridge that maybe made it to the end of the week and you haven't used just yet. This is going to be the recipe where you can either use exactly what I did or just kind of use what I share in this video as guidance. But I'm really excited for you to check that one out. The second recipe is a plant-based gyro. Oh my gosh. It's meaty, it's flavorful, it's easy to put together. The only thing you really have to cook is the protein in the mushrooms, but it tastes so good, okay? So let's get into these high protein sheet pan meals. So the plant-based sausage, lentil, and veggie sheet pan meal is super easy to put together. We have veggies like peppers, red onions, asparagus, and protein from the lentils and plant-based sausage, which is completely optional. We keep things a bit simple with the seasonings because a lot of the flavor comes from a tahini, garlic, and miso dressing that we drizzle on top. In the beginning, I told y'all this sheet pan meal is a great way to really just use up the veggies that have been sitting in the fridge. And as you can tell, this green bell pepper was on its last leg. We're going to start off by prepping our veggies, so dicing our red and green bell peppers, moving on to our red onion, and then the asparagus. I was taught to snap the asparagus like this because the ends can be woody and a bit rough to chew, and I saved them for my veggie broth bag. We also sliced the plant-based sausage. Next, we're going to add the veggies to a baking sheet along with the drain and rinse cooked lentils. I just use canned lentils, but you can soak lentils and then cook them down if you would prefer to do that. I just drizzled everything with a bit of olive oil and I seasoned it with salt, black pepper, garlic powder, coriander, and thyme. I almost forgot about the plant-based sausages, so either add those before you begin to season the veggies or just squeeze them in, kind of get in where they fit in like I'm doing here. And again, the plant-based sausage is optional, so if you don't want to use it, you can make this with crispy tofu, you can do soy curls, whatever your source of protein is. But again, we're also using those cooked lentils, so it's completely up to you. I baked that for about 30 minutes on 375 degrees. And while that was in the oven, I quickly put together a sauce to go with the sausage, lentils, and veggies. The sauce consisted of miso paste. I also added tahini. I added some garlic powder and fresh garlic because I love using them both and might as well. And then I also added in some black pepper. You don't need to add any salt with this because the miso already has a sweet, salty taste. So I would recommend, just giving this a taste test before adding any salt to it because you may find that you don't even need it. And then just add warm water to thin it out. I also threw in some fresh parsley because why not? Now, once our meal is finished baking in the oven, it's time to plate everything. You can serve this with or without a grain. So I just use a quinoa and rice mix that I had. It's completely up to you, but don't forget to drizzle that sauce on top because it just adds another layer of flavor. I'm not sure how something so simple could taste so good, but it was amazing, and I had it for lunch the day I filmed this and then the next day as well. Just wanted to pop in and send a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Happy Viking. I am so excited to be working with them. And if you've been here, you know that I am on a high protein journey. And though I try to get most of my protein through full meals, there are times where I use plant-based protein powders like Happy Viking to help me reach my protein goals. The brand is actually founded by Venus Williams. She founded the brand after being diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and she really helped get her body back on track through plants. What I really like about this one is that it's not chalky. With 2 scoops of this, you get 20 grams of plant-based protein. It has so many superfoods, vitamins, minerals, and not only does it taste good, but it's non-GMO, it's dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, and it only has 2 grams of sugar. And hopefully by now you know this. I won't recommend a product I don't like, and I won't share a recipe that doesn't taste good. So with that being said, if you are looking for a new plant-based protein to try out, Happy Viking actually gave me a code where you can use Shakayla Felice at checkout and get 20% off of your very first order. They have so many flavors for you to choose from I think cookies and cream, vanilla, so you can use that 20% off and get whichever flavor your heart desires. I'll have it linked in the description box. Thank you again to Happy Viking for sponsoring this video. Thank you to you for your support, which allows me to have opportunities such as this. And without further ado, let's get into the second sheet pan recipe. Now the next meal is a shredded tofu and oyster mushroom gyro. We're using ingredients like extra firm tofu that we shred, as well as oyster mushrooms that we also shred, and we add it to a saucy marinade with a variety of seasonings. And because this is a gyro, we're gonna load it with veggies like lettuce, cucumber, red onion, tomatoes, and of course a tzatziki sauce that we spread over pita bread. To start, we're gonna make our marinade, so I'm going in with olive oil, coconut aminos, smoked paprika, garlic powder, cayenne pepper, coriander, onion powder, dried thyme, black pepper, fresh oregano, lemon juice, and a bit of vegetable broth. Now I know that was a lot, but these flavors work together very well. Moving on to prepping our oyster mushrooms and tofu. After brushing the dirt off the oyster mushrooms, I like to remove this part of the oyster mushroom. I just do that by cutting it off because it's a bit woody to me. And then for the shredded consistency, you just simply pull it apart until it looks like this. For the tofu, I take the extra firm tofu and I shred it. Normally, I do freeze my tofu before cooking with it, but when I'm doing shredded tofu or tofu scramble, I don't freeze it. I found that when you freeze the tofu and then shred it, it pretty much crumbles more than it shreds. So I wouldn't recommend doing that for this meal. Just purchase it from the store, drain it, press a little bit of the water out, and you'll be good. So give that a good mix to ensure that the tofu and the mushrooms are coated in that marinade. And we're going to let this sit for 20 to 30 minutes, but longer if you have time. So after that's been marinating, we're going to transfer it to a greased baking sheet, and we're going to bake it for 30 to 40 minutes and give it a good mix every 10 to 15 minutes to ensure that everything is cooking evenly. And while that was in the oven, I prepped the rest of the ingredients that are going to go inside the gyro. Now for the tzatziki sauce, you can either use a store-bought plant-based tzatziki sauce, or you can make one from scratch using dairy-free yogurt, shredded cucumber, lemon juice, garlic cloves, dill, mint, salt, and black pepper. I'll put my recipe in the description. And for the last 5 to 10 minutes while the tofu and mushrooms were in the oven, I've added the pita bread in there so that it can warm up. And by now it's time to assemble the gyros, which were absolutely amazing. So we add down some of the tzatziki sauce, followed by lettuce, some cucumber, tomatoes, the red onions, and then our oyster mushroom and shredded tofu mix. Y'all, this was so good. So be sure to let me know in the comments which of these meals you plan to try, what you thought about the video. You can find the recipes to both of these meals in the description box, along with my link for the 20% off of your first order at Happy Biking. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.